back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, and tonight's guest is one of the most entertaining posers in the IFBB, the man I'm talking about, Fred Biggie Smalls. Welcome.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for all the love you're giving me out on Muscle in the Morning. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, I'm a huge fan of what you bring to the stage, not only physique-wise, but entertainment-wise, because as a guy who sits in the audience and critiques bodybuilding, you know, guy after guy after guy, and then bikini girl after bikini, it's a pleasure to watch you perform on stage because you put so much effort into your routines. You probably have become, you know, I would say you're probably the most entertaining guy out there right now, you know, because a lot of the guys like Melvin Anthony and Darren Charles and even Tricky Jacks to a certain degree, kind of not around as much as they were in the past. You're kind of like the new guy on the block, putting out the outstanding routines. How do you come up with unique ideas every time you're up there?
I got to give a lot of credit to my DJ, DJ Killanoise. He's also, you can check him out on Instagram at DJ Killanoise. But I just give him the songs I want, and he comes up with some really good ideas for music. And then I got to thank my 14-year-old daughter, who she actually has turns me on to all the dance sites for Instagram and stuff like that. So that's pretty, you know, and I get the newest and latest and greatest dance moves out there, and then it just kind of keeps it relevant. And I just have a lot of fun, man. I like partying. I love music, and it keeps it entertaining for me. So I enjoy just putting it together and getting excited. I usually try and keep the same routine about 3 or 4 times, so it's like second nature. Then we change it up. So it's pretty cool.
Now, what's your background in the fact that you're able to take these new moves and integrate them into your routine so effortlessly? Because you do make it look like it's simple. And for people who could perform like that and make things look easy, there has to be some kind of either formal training or just internal knack that you have for it.
Well, I mean, as a from the time I was in high school into college, I did formal dance, you know, jazz, modern, some ballet, and that was my minor in college. And then, you know, I used to do all the battle competitions, all that kind of stuff. So I don't dance like I used to when I was 190 pounds, but you know, I love music. So, you know, whether it's training, whether it's, you know, practicing my posing, whatever it is, you know, music's always involved, and it just kind of comes naturally for me. And, you know, I actually, a lot of times I can just kind of lay back and just listen to the music for a period of time, and then I'll be able to come up with something, and then, you know, and that's why I keep the same routine a couple times, because I by the third time it's like perfected, and then the music actually slows down for me even more, and then I'm more able to interact with the audience. And I mean, that's why I love guest posing, you know. I mean, there's nothing more fun than taking a person who's not really into our sport for the sport itself, but into it because they know a competitor or know a family member who's worked hard and they're supporting them, and they come to a show and then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, I didn't know it was like that. And now you got a new fan to the sport because they love the entertainment side of it. And you know, and it's been a blessing. Like I've guest posed all over the world, and I've heard stories of people where a woman who had a terminal illness, you know, she's like, I haven't smiled and had fun like that in months. Until I saw you pose tonight, and then the person that, you know, I was dreading coming to the competition, but seeing you pose and do your thing was the highlight. And, you know, and then actually my fellow competitors, you know, we all have great respect for each other. They actually look forward to it too. You know, they're always like, oh man, what's Fred going to bring? You know, it was pretty funny. Me, Akeem, and Dallas were talking outside of the Chicago Pro, and they're both like, man, there's something to see. You got to check him out when he's guest posing. So there's an appreciation for it on all levels, you know, whether it's the fan, the fellow competitor. You know, I don't know if the judges like it so much because they're not giving me that much love this year, but you know, the people that buy tickets like it. So we'll go from that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger likes it because you're at all his shows. I mean, you were in South Africa. You're going to Hong Kong in 2 weeks to compete. The Arnold people seem to greatly appreciate the production value you bring to the stage. And And on the Arnold stage, the posing routine is counting now for a 30-year score. So that's got to make you super happy going to those shows.
Yeah, I've been blessed. The Arnold committee has been very good to me over the years. Ever since my first Arnold in 2013, they've been adamant about me trying to have me on every show they do. And now that they're in 6 continents, it's a little rough, but it's definitely a great honor, especially when I talk to some athletes that are like, man, I would just love to do one Arnold. And I have the blessing of being invited to all of them. Bob Lormer's been super, super good to me. So I don't take it for granted. I definitely do not take it for granted. This circuit gets kind of rough, trying to be in shape all year round like that. But in trying to bring a package that's worthy of the Arnold stage is also important too. You don't want to show up on stage and not be in shape. So, but yeah, it's and the other thing about the Arnold, and this is something that people must know, the Arnold, the shows they put on, I mean, they always treat the athletes like pros. We're not stuck in some corner. We're not getting second-rate accommodations. Everything's top-notch for the Arnold. So, I mean, it's a true blessing to be part of that organization.
Yeah, now the one thing that I always find amusing is that the Arnold people always have like paid entertainers, at their shows. So like some kind of Cirque du Soleil or some kind of act. They should just pay you to come out and do and pose, because they'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You could do a performance act for them, and then you could also jump in the show and you could double dip. Maybe you get 2 prizes. You get paid to entertain, and then you could possibly win some prize money and get some points for the Olympia qualification. That's what I would do if I was the Arnold people, especially in these remote countries like Hong Kong. Rather than fly in a whole crew of entertainers, you should be the entertainment. Maybe you could put together a whole troupe of people to pose with you.
Funny, because when I first started doing the guest posing, and especially when I was in my younger years competing in some other places, we used to do a whole skit where you start out dancing and then you go into the posing and everything, and people used to love it. But I think that it's crazy because we go to these other countries and the fans are so appreciative. Like, it was pretty, you go to South Africa and I'm talking thousands of fans are there, and they're unbelievable. The energy's unreal. I mean, unreal, the energy. And we're on stage, we're posing, and we're in the audience, and people are just are like jumping over seats and everything. And then, when I guest posed in France, there's the same thing. I had to have like a security team around me because people are so excited about what we're doing. And then it was so upsetting because last week we were in Baltimore and it's a brand new show. And the Arnolds are also very well promoted. Their marketing is really good. But we're in Baltimore, local. East Coast is known for bodybuilding, and there's like maybe 100 people in the audience, and it's just like, we got to support what we're doing here. And we go overseas, and the bodybuilding is still amazing. And when I say overseas, everywhere from Europe to Africa to India, all these places. I mean, bodybuilding's so big. I mean, I was in Canada in in the town of Frampton, and I went up there as a celebrity trainer for a week, and just the young kids, Indian kids that wanted to meet a bodybuilder and just wanted to learn how to put muscle on and learn how to eat properly and all these things. It's like they're so excited, and then we're here in America, and it's like, it seems like the luster is kind of, the mystique of bodybuilding is kind of losing some of its drive. And it's kind of like, hey guys, like whether it's any sport you're playing, it starts with bodybuilding. It starts with the foundation to try and get stronger, try to put more muscle on so you can improve whatever sport you're doing. And that's what we're doing. So, there's got to be a way we can generate a lot more interest and a lot more excitement about what we're doing here in the States, because around the world, it's nuts.
It is, Fred, we're spoiled here because we got too many shows and people are sick of seeing a show every weekend. You go over to France, there's one show. You go to South Africa, there's one big show where they get a chance to see pro bodybuilders. And I think that's really what it amounts to. How did the people in Paris get in touch with you to guest pose out there?
The Arnold.
Oh, really?
When I was at the Arnold Spain, they came up to me backstage, said, "Oh man, our fans would love to have you on stage." I was like, "All right, let's set it up." So I mean, it's, and that's the Arnold, again, like I said, it's a big blessing because something always, whether, like I haven't been, I almost feel like the Arnold Spain has not been too kind to me over the years, but one thing I say about that show, whether it's winning Best Poser one year, getting unbelievable, and the Arnold pays for Best Poser, so that in that way it's actually really good. And then meeting some new promoters. I mean, I've gotten incredible guest posing opportunities from doing all the Arnolds, so it's been really good for my career.
What was the most exotic place you've been to guest pose or pose?
Exotic. The craziest place is Libya.
Really?
Was crazy.
How'd you get to Libya? Who set that up?
Well, it was after Arnold Brazil, and 2013, and the guy came up and he knew George Farah, and
everyone does.
He wanted to know who I was after seeing me pose, and they did a tribute to one of the bodybuilders who had passed away in the Revolution.
I think we lost Fred there. Of course, they knew George. Everyone knows George everywhere, all over the world. When I get him back, what I want to know is, I can't believe Fred went to Libya because I think, it seems like a scary country it might be to go to. I don't know what the state of safety is there, or for an American, because I know we're not liked necessarily there. But I'll be interested to hear what Fred has to say about that. I will say one thing about Fred. I remember there was, before Fred was pro, before Juan Morel was pro, I think this might have been Juan Morel's second show. Fred was warming up, I think, for the USA or something like that, and he jumped in this New Jersey show, local regional qualifier, at the last minute, and he really wasn't peaked out yet, but Juan beat him, and Juan had just done his first show. I think it might have been his second show, and Fred was pissed off. I would have been pissed off too because I don't think Fred knew that a guy like Juan would be there, but Juan was peaked 100%, shredded to the bone as he always is. And it was a great victory. And I told Juan, you might never beat him for quite a long time. And it did take Juan a while to get the pro card and to beat back Fred again. But it was an interesting story because they both were amateurs. And it told the story of, to watch people go from that to where they are now on the national or international stage is just it's monumental, really. I almost feel like a proud father seeing these guys growing up and getting to bigger and better things. And Fred's routine, I said it right from the beginning. I was telling people on Heavy Muscle Radio, after the first time I saw Fred guest pose, if you guys are promoters out there, you should hire Fred because Fred is the most entertaining guy out there right now. He's doing fresh new stuff. He doesn't rehash the same routine every single time. And he'll bring people and put people in the seats. And I'm glad that the promoters have risen to that and have been bringing him in. I know Sid was showing me the schedule that Fred's got for this year. It's like 10 or 15 guest posings he's got. It's absolutely mind-boggling when you think about it. And Fred's probably making, I'll ask him how much he's making. He's probably making $1,500 to $2,000 a guest posing. That's nice income to put in your pocket at the end of the day. And, people complain that the bodybuilders can't make money. Spend some time working on your guest posing, and you know what? You could make money. But look, I think we got Fred back here. Oh, there's his guest posing. Look at that schedule. Jersey, Hong Kong, New York, San Martin, the Olympia, obviously, assuming he qualifies for it. Then he'll have the Spain. He'll be there because they love him at the Arnold. He'll be in New York on October 1st, the 8th in Florida, Barbados, Brazil. So this guy's got a full schedule. Reminds me of what I was doing in 2002 and 3. Now, Fred, I got a couple of questions. First of all, I wanted to ask you about Libya. Weren't you a little nervous going to Libya? I mean, I would. It's not exactly, they don't exactly love Americans there.
No, it was really, I didn't know what I was in for, but Can you hear me? I didn't know what I was in for, but when your entourage or when the people that are courting you around and chaperoning you around are telling you, okay, stay away from the walls of the gym because there's gunshots outside the gym, it's a little nerve-wracking. But again, it's about the people, and the people. There were people there that drove literally 6 hours to come see what they called the American guest pose. So they were super excited. And I mean, I was on stage for, over 10 minutes and you know, doing, and there was like kids coming up, and I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. And it was pretty awesome because they put me backstage to do autographs at the end, and it got so crazy that they had to like lock me in this, like almost like it was like a locker room setting. They locked me back in this like cage because people were just getting so hyped up to try and meet me. And you go, man, this is just crazy because it's just bodybuilding, but you don't realize how many people you inspire. Like, you know, when I was in Disney World last week, everybody from the 19-year-old kid to the 65-year-old man was coming up, and they're asking you questions, and they're just in awe. Like, how do you build such a physique? And they want to know, and people really want to know how to get healthier. They just don't. And so much information is out there that they're almost confused, you know. And you just have, as bodybuilders, you know, yeah, we want to compete, we want to win. I mean, I definitely want to win, and that's why I keep plugging so hard. But there's also a responsibility where you go, man, you know, I can pay this forward tenfold and help so many people, and that's what's really cool about the whole thing.
You're definitely a nut job to go to Olympia, but I'm glad it worked out well and you didn't get killed or anything like that. I do want to bring up something because in 2002, 3, and 4, I guest posed probably maybe 50 times. I mean, I had weekends booked, and I couldn't pose like you did. I didn't have that dance skill set that you have or the moves that you had, but I would create interesting routines where I would entertain the crowd, so to speak. You know, I would take time to produce routines that made people say, hey, I want to watch this. It's entertaining. I'm laughing. It's funny. It's inspiring. And I made good money doing it. And I have to imagine with all the guest poses you have booked, you're probably making good money also. And, you know, a lot of bodybuilders complain that they have now, there's no money in the sport, there's no contracts anymore. You know what? I tell people, spend a couple hours putting together an interesting, creative routine, and people will hire you. I don't get it. Did you see a lack of inspiration when it comes to bodybuilders? They seem very lazy to me.
Well, I believe, you know, posing used to be, whether they really did it or not, at least they said they did it. They used to judge it. I think not judging it was a huge mistake, and not judging it because you got to. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, it's a sport, but it's entertainment, and you know, people spend. I mean, the Olympia tickets are crazy. So how do you not judge the posing routine? And that's separate from the pre-judging. You know, creativity should matter to some degree, or at least presenting your physique in the best way possible. And for it not to be judged, the incentive's not there. And, you know, as a bodybuilder, it's between the posing, the cardio, the deficit of nutrients and all the workouts. I mean, you're exhausted. So if you're not going to be rewarded for the work you're putting in, maybe you just spend time doing your mandatories and that's it. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that's realistic. And you know, but can you make a lot of money in the sport? Absolutely. I mean, you know, whether it's posing clinics that you can run, which we do those, whether right now, I mean, there's so many young up and coming bodybuilders that want help, want advice, want knowledge. That if you're halfway decent, you're making money helping others, at least off a local level anyway. And then the average person still looks at us as the authority. So if you're somewhat aggressive, you can be doing seminars all the time. So, I mean, the first time I met you, Dave, was when you came to the training center here in Delaware. That was like 1997. And you did a seminar, and you were 315 pounds, ripped to the bone. It really didn't matter what you said; everybody wanted to look like you. So, it just
you were at that gym.
It just happens that you're extremely knowledgeable and smart as I don't know what. So everyone's going, "Oh man, that's really cool." But I mean, people talked about you being here for months and months after you left. So, yeah, I mean, the impact that you have being a dominant figure in this sport is amazing.
Yeah, that was the gym that was next to the nuclear power plant, right?
No. The guy who owns
Jack
it works at the nuclear
Oh,
power
okay,
plant. Yes.
okay, yeah.
Yep.
I confused it. I remember that something with the nuclear power plant. Now, Fred, this last year you won your first pro show, the Dallas Europa Super Show, and you qualified for the Olympia automatically. That had to be a huge pat on the back for you, so to speak. Validation that, hey, I'm a top tier pro.
Yeah, I for me, like, a big fear of mine is to be done with this sport and not be considered really good, and that's what's haunting me. And I think the hardest part about last week in Baltimore, what happened was when I look at those pictures, that's what I had always envisioned wanting to look like. Really hard. I mean, that was, if it's not shredded, as close as shredded as I've ever been. And really symmetrical, really complete. I certainly wasn't the biggest one on stage, but I was super complete. And to not even get a chance to battle with Max Charles, who I beat 2 weeks before when I wasn't as full in Vancouver, was a little upsetting, and you realize, okay, it's in other sports you go, don't leave it in the judge's hand. That's all we have is the judges to go by. And and the boards have always ripped me for being not conditioned enough. Oh, he's big, he's full, he's got everything, but he's not conditioned enough. He's symmetrical, not conditioned enough. And now everyone's like, oh, his conditioning's great, but my placings are worse than they've been as a pro ever. And it's really hard to understand. I mean, I love the look when I look at the pictures, but it really makes it hard to. I mean, I look at some of the people that beat me, and there's no disrespect to anybody because everybody's doing what they can do. But I honestly look at some of the people and I go, okay, I could have stopped. I could have took my foot off the pedal 2 weeks before the show and been cool. Yeah. If that's the look they wanted for.
Well, what did the judges tell you? Did you talk to them?
I heard everything. Even one judge told me, man, you just look really smooth at night. And I'm going, okay. I don't even know what to say to that because I saw the video. Oh, well, video can change things. Pictures can change things. Okay, well, when you were telling me that I wasn't hard enough, you told me look at the pictures. So
right.
I don't know. I know that when the writers like yourself, Chris Aceto, the other magazine, when they write things, they're looking at the same thing the judges are looking at. You guys are experienced, and I know that you guys rip me when I'm not right, and this is the first time I haven't been ripped. So, by you guys in terms of criticism, so from that standpoint, I feel good. But in our sport, the difference between third, fourth, and seventh is a little bit of money and no money.
Right.
And with me being in the year where, I'm not sponsored right now, with anyone formally. And, we came off of last year where we got our first pro win. We went into the Olympia and got the call out necessary to put me in the top 10. It didn't stick, but we got that call out that would have been the bottom of the top 10. I was really, really hoping with the improvements I made that would be rewarded. But can't cry over spilled milk. We keep moving forward, and we'll get better. So
now you got the third place in Vancouver. Obviously, you need more points to qualify for the Olympia. You'll be in Asia and Hong Kong for the Arnold Asia. And you made a good point to me. I didn't even realize it, but the point system at the Arnold shows are double the points that you would normally get at a regular regional show. So if you want to try to qualify for Olympia, the Arnold shows are a great show to be at. And since you get invited to them all, I guess you had to take this opportunity to go there. What place would you need to land in to clinch a spot in that top 5 point system?
Well, we got top 5 at the Arnold Africa, right? So fifth, so that gave me 2 points, and then we got third, that gave me 3. So anywhere in the top 3, I think would be good enough to put me in the Olympia, because that third would give me 6 points. That would give me 11. That would, I think, be good enough to put me in. But obviously you go in and you know what, I still stand by what I said before. What made some of the greatest bodybuilders is their completeness. Having everything, having the fullness, the symmetry, and the hardness. And I think I've nailed what it takes for me to bring the same conditioning over and over. I brought it consistently 3 shows now. I think I'll be fuller because I've been able to eat a little more without gaining any fat. Since the last show, and I'm working on any weak points I have. So I think we'll be a little bit better than we were in Baltimore. And I'm going there, man, for the win. I'm not going there really just thinking of 3rd place. So,
well, I'm rooting for you. Obviously, we've known each other a long time, and I consider you a friend. And I love the routine, love the physique. You've made improvements every single year. I think you belong on that Olympia stage. So, best of luck in Hong Kong at the Arnold Asia. And is there a Best Poser award there too?
No, but the the one year that I went to these shows, I put on such a good routine that they created one on the spot. So
really?
We'll see.
Well, okay.
Yeah, like Arnold was like standing up after my one routine I did in the Arnold Spain in 2014, and he told Bob Lormer, "We got to do something." So
wow.
I would. Cool.
If I were you, I would create a new routine for every Arnold, just because they're so happy with what you do there that that alone is worth it. You probably get more business from just being at that show after the fact than you would get at any other show you could possibly do.
Yeah, we definitely focused on bringing a new routine to the Arnold. That's we're not gonna duplicate routines when we go to the Arnold. So
all right, well, Fred, good luck, and we'll talk to you when you get back, and hopefully we'll see you on that Olympia stage.
All right, I appreciate the time, and again, thanks for the love, and I look forward to using and utilizing the Species products going forward here. So.
Yeah,
thank you.
We're excited to have you working with us, and I know you always believed in the products, and you like the high quality of what we produce, and obviously if you have a Ferrari of a physique, you want to put the best quality ingredients into that car or into that physique, and I appreciate you endorsing the line and using the products. So it's my pleasure.
Absolutely. You guys, it's anytime you have a product that's quality, that stands the test of time, and that consistently improves and doesn't have to change because it's great from the beginning, is it's a testament to the company and testament to your knowledge, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. And on that very high note, it's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and stay tuned. In a very short time, we will have Iron Debate with John Romano and Chris Aceto. We'll see you next time.